Hi, I'm Reba with the Mystery Box Show. Today's story is all about just how sexy consent can actually be. Here to share that with you is Lo, the author.
It was a late spring night when I welcomed Dreads into my room. We had been in a situationship for years, and he had come to New York from Michigan just to see me. That night, our sex was explosive, as it always had been. I mean, a little bit of choking, a little bit of hair pulling, and lots of orgasms. I woke up the next morning in my twin size bed in bliss. Short-lived bliss, because soon after I awoke, I realized that I was in pain. And some of y'all know that type of pain that I'm talking about, that feeling like you've been kicked in the stomach, or like your uterus is attacking every internal organ in your body. That feeling. I just started my period. He woke up shortly after I did and began rubbing his hands up and down my body. I could feel the excitement starting to rise. And for the record, period sex is the best kind of sex, the absolute best kind of sex. But the first day of my period, there's nothing worse that I can think of. I sighed and I rolled away from him. What? He asked me. I don't feel like it. What do you mean you don't feel like it? I don't want to have sex with you. Well, then why did I even come here? This was the beginning of the biggest man fit I'd ever witnessed. I'm thinking to myself, like, do you mean to tell me after this entire night of having this incredible sex that you're upset because I said no once? Like, am I not allowed to deny you sex once? Eventually, he did leave. And that was the last that I ever spoke to him. In the moment, my emotions were in a bit of a frenzy. I was really confused because we had just had some of the best sex that we've ever had. I was also hurt because, yes, we had been fucking for years, but also we were friends. But most of all, I felt anger. Anger that he would treat me like I was a sex toy that had to wait on his beck and call because he wanted to have sex. All of these emotions came from saying no. But I knew deep down inside of me that it didn't have to be this way. In elementary school, I was a latchkey kid. Both of my parents worked until really late, and so I was in latchkey. And every afternoon after school, the girls would get together and build these humongous forts out of those blue gymnastic mats. So some of them would be really big, some would have a hallway, some would have multiple rooms. But I guess it doesn't really matter the shape or the size or whatever, because they really only served one purpose. And that was to do things we were not supposed to be doing. Me and the girls would go into the play forts and touch each other. We would explore each other's bodies and learn the sensations of touch. One day, there was a girl who was not a latchkey kid who decided to join, who decided to come to latchkey that day, or her parent was working later, whatever. So me, of course, being the awesome leader that I am, decided to step up and say, okay, well, you're new here. This is what we do. I invited her into the fort. We're maybe about 30 seconds in, and she pushes me away. I don't like this. Oh, okay. And I walked away from her and continued about my business with someone else. That simple no was all it took from her. I'd accepted that that was not something that she wanted to do, and I just left. And so I knew somewhere deep down inside of me that not all no's resulted in tantrums like the tantrum that Dreads had thrown back in New York. Several years later, after the Dreads incident, I found myself at a WeWork Christmas party, drunk off my ass. He was wearing a hat indoors, a fedora specifically. And I felt that I needed to walk over him and let him know how pretentious I thought that was. What started as a bit of banter turned into an hour-long conversation until finally he asked me, "Can I kiss you?" From there, everything happened fast. We were suddenly in an Uber, then in his home, then in his bed. And every moment, there was consent along the way. The pace I was used to, this like fast moving, oh, it's quick, we're making that, we're going, okay. But Fedora asking whether or not I wanted something was really new to me. Can I stick my fingers in you as deep as they will go? Are you gonna let me eat this pussy? I couldn't even focus on how good the sex was because I was so confused by the amount of consent that he was asking for. Needless to say, I'm floored. At a certain point, he has me on all fours. "Can I fuck your asshole, baby?" Now I stop and I blink because blinking is something that I do when I'm processing things. I mean, I have always wanted to try anal, but I like, do we have lube? I'm not sure. I think about my recent anal fissure, which if you don't know what an anal fissure is, it's a cut on your butt and it can be pretty painful. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, yes, in theory, but like maybe today it's just not the best idea. And you see, like, I had a lot of sex since dreads and his temper tantrum, but a situation hadn't really come up where I felt like I needed to say no. I tend to be pretty easygoing in the sex department. I could feel the nerves bubbling in my stomach. Oh my God. Should I just flat out say no? Should I soften the blow? Should I like soften my language? How will he respond? Like, will he get mad at me? I just met this man today. What if he flips out the same way Dreads did all those years ago? I take a deep breath and summon up just a tiny bit of courage. Not today. He leans down over me and whispers into my ear, "No worries, love." And in that moment, it feels like everything has come full circle and like a lifelong lesson has been solidified. It's okay. I can say no. I don't have to hold my breath in anxiety before I say it. I don't have to muster up courage. I don't even have to give a thought. I can just say no. And there are some people out there who will get mad about it, who will pressure me, who won't respect my boundaries. But there are others who care about what I think and ask to be clear, who will respect me as a human being with agency, even when I voice something that they don't want to hear, who will not treat my no as a source of annoyance. In this world, there's this place where I can say no.
Thanks for watching. Tell us what you thought of LAUX's story in the comments below, and if you'd like to support us on Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/mysteryboxshow. Be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel and hit that notification bell to keep updated on all of our upcoming confession corners and live streams.